beautiful park. I believe it's open in Colorado Springs. And it's a very popular tourist attraction. People come here from all over the world. And not so much in the winter time, but especially in the summertime, this place gets so packed that sometimes you can't even drive into the park. So I actually parked at the visitor center, which is right up there across the street from the park entrance. And I'll be hiking into the park today. And then I'm going to be doing about 5 miles of hiking, mostly around the perimeter of the park. Once we get to a park map, I'll show you some of the hiking trails that I'll be doing, but it's going to end up being about 5 miles of hiking. And there's not much, but this area did get a little bit of snow recently, so I'm hoping that makes for some great views as we go further back into the park. But one great view right now, look at Pikes Peak, just covered in snow. And normally that wouldn't be a big deal in February, but up until pretty recently, Pikes Peak was pretty dry. Just not much snow. This whole last week, up where I live near Denver, we got a ton of snow all throughout the week. It pretty much snowed non-stop this whole last week. And this is one of the first like nice sunny days, you know, in like since last weekend. So I'm definitely excited to show you guys this. This is a classic Colorado hike, and it has some spectacular scenery. And although Garden of the Gods does get pretty crowded, yeah, I mean, even on a cold winter day like this, it still has the potential to get pretty crowded. But for those of you who have hiked in Garden of the Gods before, you know that even during the peak tourist season, the trails, you know, they get kind of crowded, but it's not really that bad. Because I would say that like 80% of the people that visit this park don't ever even get out of their cars. Or if they do, it's just to, you know, get out and snap a couple of pictures and get back in and keep driving. So I apologize for the wind, because it is a windy day today and it's probably not going to change, but this should still be an awesome hike, and I'm looking forward to showing you guys all of this. Alright, so just hiking into the park. We're hiking right along the park road right now, and the road's going to split up here, and it turns into a one-way road that loops around all of the big sandstone pillars in the park. And of course, we're still getting a great view of Pikes Peak up there, as we will for pretty much the entirety of this hike. And so far, the ice and snow on the trail hasn't been that bad. There's a little bit of it, and I brought my yak tracks just in case it gets bad. But who knows, I might not even have to put them on. So here's a park map. There are many of these all around the place, all over the place out here. So this is all the central garden area, and all of those trails are mostly paved. And so we're right there. We're gonna start here on this trail, take it all the way up around here to the Palmer Trail, hike down the Palmer Trail. I'll probably loop in and hit some of the Central Garden Trail, and then come back out on the Scotsman Trail and hike that down and around. And I might hit this area, I'm not quite sure yet, or I might just cut back up and come across and exit the park again. We'll see how I feel. But we're now branching off from the road and starting on one of the many beautiful hiking trails here in Garden of the Gods. Wow, it is super windy today. We got about 30-degree temps right now with up to 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So not ideal hiking weather by any means, but it is causing a lot of people to stay in their cars, so that means these hiking trails will be empty today. You know, with all the signs here for bighorn sheep, all the times I've been out here, I have yet to see one. But who knows, maybe today's the day. I'm hoping that once I get to some of these other trails, I'll be in the trees a little bit more, so I'll be a little blocked from the wind. Because that first stretch of hiking I just came through was brutal with that wind. Beautiful red sandstone rock formations and pillars out here. Despite how popular of a tourist attraction this is, even though I've been living here for a couple of years, I still enjoy coming out here at least, you know, once every few months. Especially in the winter time when there's less people. It's just such a beautiful place. I can't get enough of it. Alright, so we're now starting on the Palmer Trail. And it's my favorite section of trail in the park. The views are amazing. And once you split off from this road here, it's almost like you're, you know, actually, you know, out of civilization a little bit. Despite Garden of the Gods being right in Colorado Springs, there's still some trails where you can feel like you're not in the city. And the Palmer Trail is definitely the best for that, I would say. Look at that view. And it just keeps getting better, trust me. And of course, you know, I have seen a few people, but like I said, especially in the wintertime, not many people hike the trails out here. Most people either just stay in their cars or hike around the central garden area, take a couple pictures, and that's it. So if you really want to enjoy Garden of the Gods the way it was intended to be enjoyed, do at least a couple miles of hiking. You don't have to hike around the whole park like I'm doing, but do a little hiking at least. And just as I thought, I am being blocked from the wind a little bit more over on this side. And there's also more snow and more ice on the trail. So, as of right now, it's still not bad enough that I would put my yak tracks on. But it might get there pretty soon. We'll see. What did I tell you? The views on the Palmer Trail are stunning. And despite it being a little cold and windy, it's a beautiful day today. Hardly any clouds. beautiful little snowy section of trail right here. Wow. There really is no bad time to go hiking in Colorado. It's beautiful any time of the year. Winter is certainly no exception. Just bring the right gear. Coming out to an awesome little overlook over here. Check that out. Beautiful view of all the rock formations. And there's nobody else out here. It's just me. I have the Palmer Trail to myself. Doing way more recording than I normally would for a video, but I just have to show you guys all this. It's just so incredible. If you look way up there, that rock formation up there is called the Kissing Camels, and if you look closely you can see why it's called that. Just keeps getting better and better. Look at that view. Getting a much better view of that Kissing Camels rock formation up there. And of course, still getting great views of all the rock formations. Unfortunately, the wind has returned though. I'm in a more open area now, so the wind has come back. But here's a view we haven't seen for a little while. Pikes Peak. Looking amazing with all that snow on it. Still some great views. And you know, normally this section of trail is pretty crowded, but on this cold, windy February day, not so much. Matter of fact, I think I've seen a total of like 5 people since I started hiking, which even for the off season is pretty rare, especially on a Saturday. across the street, and eventually that trail leads, it just kind of follows this road up that way to Balanced Rock. But I decided to cross the road and head towards the Scotsman's Trail. So here's another map. I can show you where we were and where we are now. So obviously I started up here at the visitor center, hiked across the road, hiked through to the entrance of the park, took this trail here up all the way around to the Palmer Trail, took the Palmer Trail, and I could have used this cutoff here to get to the Central Garden, but I decided to keep going down the Palmer Trail all the way to right here where we are right now, and I'm going to be picking up the Scotsman's Trail, and then I will take the Scotsman's Trail up into the Central Garden. Alright, we got a nice wide trail hiking towards those beautiful rock formations over there. And of course, right behind us, our amazing view of Pikes Peak is still there. There's really no place in Garden of the Gods that you won't get a great view, but this is probably the best view of Pikes Peak we've had so far. And it's incredible. Of course, we still got views of the sandstone formations, and as we hike further up here, we'll get some more views of the Central Garden again. Alright, so we're branching off of the Scotsman Loop and heading towards the Central Garden. And you will find that the Central Garden is by far the busiest section of Garden of the Gods, because it's right next to all the big parking lots, and all the trails and walk paths are paved. But it's still beautiful, and of course no tour of Garden of the Gods would be complete without showing you guys the Central Garden. Alright, so we're now entering the Central Garden area. So we'll be right in the middle of all those beautiful rock formations we've been walking around this whole time. And like I said, there's definitely a lot more people in this section of the park than there is in any of the actual hiking trails. But it does not change how beautiful this place is. It's still very enjoyable. And by the way, for all those adrenaline junkies out there, you can rock climb here, and you'll consistently see rock climbers out here on all these pillars, but it is on a permit system, so you can't just come out here and start climbing. You do have to get a permit. But for any of those interested, it can be done. Getting some nice reminders of why I saved the Central Garden for last. There is just always too many people out here. I've seen more people just from walking the last maybe quarter of a mile through the Central Garden area than I saw in the entire rest of the park. Like way more. And that's why this park is still free today. So we're back in the super windy section of the park now that we're back on the, I guess the east side of the park. The west side of the park where the Palmer Trail and the Scotsman Trail wasn't that bad, but over here it's pretty nasty. These winds have been getting pretty crazy. So we're still technically in the Central Garden section of the trail, and look, here comes a, I guess, City of Colorado Springs vehicle driving up through here. Anyway, we are getting, whoa, that wind is bad. We are getting pretty close to the end of the hike here. I'm about to be back out where the park road splits and becomes the Garden of the Gods loop, and from there it's just a short hike back along that trail that I took to get into the park from the visitor center, and then I'll be back to where my car is parked. Alright, well, we're back at this main intersection, heading down, now we're back on the Gateway Trail, which will take us back out of the park into where the visitor center is. So, all said and done, it'll be about 5 miles of hiking today. And I think I gave you guys a great tour of Garden of the Gods in the winter time with all of its beautiful rock formations, great views of the mountains, especially Pikes Peak, and even a little snow. Not quite as much snow as I was hoping for. I was really hoping that everything would be covered in snow like it is up in the Denver area. But there's not quite that much here yet, but that's okay. This is a great hike. Garden of the Gods is absolutely fantastic park and a must-see for anyone making their way out here to Colorado, especially if you're in Colorado Springs. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I got a lot of video footage and I'm very happy with all the footage that I got. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please leave a comment, like the video, subscribe to my channel. It's much appreciated when you do that. And of course, as any one of my subscribers knows, I've been posting a lot of content lately, so that content's just going to keep coming. More beautiful hikes and more awesome experiences. And I'm glad I get to always take you guys along with me. So until the next time, guys, have a good one.